Hello, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ava St. Clair. Welcome to my channel. I am your advisor here today for your Aries March 2024 reading. Not only did I meditate and clear the energy before we got started, but I also started the reading, was interrupted. So I take all those things into account. I will say I did get a little bit choked up in the beginning, and it's coming back even now. That's happened to your energy. You've got the Four of Swords here and the Five of Pentacles. I don't normally use this deck. It kind of drives me a little bit crazy, honestly, but it's very animated and beautiful and colorful. The interesting thing is that sometimes with these colors is that the original meaning for the card may lose its symbology when people do different designs and things with the cards. For you, that seems appropriate. There is something about whether it's inner child or childlike aspects of you that need to be nourished, your creativity, your imagination in a positive direction sincerely needs to be nourished because you've been through it here. This feels like this started something around like last March, or the last year has been trying. And I'm not really entirely sure just yet why it's been so trying. But what they're saying for you in the heart of the read is that it is time for you to take a rest. I loved how these roses here came up for this particular Four of Swords energy, which talks about resting, but resting in a place where you're dreaming beautiful things. It's a place of peace, and it's a place of calm, and it's a place of color, specifically color, because it feels like there's been some darkness or just some fogginess around you for some very long period of time. You may even want to keep fighting, or you may want to keep going, or you may want to keep trying to put things in order. And what Spirit is saying here is you ain't got it. You don't have the capacity, you don't have the bandwidth, you don't have the physical, mental agility at this time to keep going, and you certainly need to rest here. I also love how in this particular one, this is a fairy tale of like sort of a Snow White deal, feeling less than. And it's not to say that you're having confidence issues necessarily, but it is saying that putting yourself in a situation where you're doing more than you have the capacity for could certainly skew your self-perception and bring you to a place where you're less confident. So that was really interesting. In your challenge here, you got the Queen of Swords along with the Six of Wands. Somebody amongst you definitely defeated a toxic feminine, whether that toxic feminine was just some friend. It feels like mother energy, though. This feels like someone who was trying to even be a mother figure to you in a way that was inappropriate. At some level, this was toxic or inappropriate, this toxic feminine. And so you defeated that, so to speak. But what I will say is that anytime you remove that kind of energy from your life, it has to be replaced, especially with this inner child energy coming up. If you can see with this Five of Pentacles here, you've got this child here that's showing up. And it's something about that. This is something about your inner child needing to be nourished by a divine feminine of some sort in order to replace this toxic feminine that came in. And so to back up even a little bit, it feels like you might have brought some toxic feminine energy into your space, or entertained it, or engaged with it, or whatever, whether that was in you or within someone else. It came in because that void was there in the first place, right? This need for a divine feminine was a void for you. And so this toxic feminine comes in, whether it was months ago or a year ago or whatever, comes in to say, pretending to be this divine figure for you. You bring it in, you entertain it, you try to nourish that inner child within you through this other person or through this other energy, and it goes badly. And so then it looks like you kind of pop out of your Aries shell and like, you go to war, you get into it, and you're like, no, we're not doing this, right? But now that that energy is gone, and the previous divine feminine nourishing is never there, it needs to be replaced. And so now you've got here in your opportunity, Six of Swords and the Page of Swords. You got to get out of there. This energy is like if you have moved on or if you're in the process of moving on from this energy, again, whether it's within you or within someone else, that is the right thing to do. There's no reason to question it. There's no question asking. Also, any kind of like, well, can we reconcile? Can we talk about it? No, it is done. It's through. It's kaput. This is done. This person has no intention of changing because their intention when they came in here as a friend or a mother or mother figure for you in the first place was wrecked. This is not someone who ever had your best and highest good in mind. This is someone, this energy right here, it doesn't always come off like this, but this energy right now is coming off to me as someone who was looking for someone's head to stand on. And because you lacked that feminine nourishment at the time and you lacked strength within that feminine nourishment, you took this person in as a replacement for that, and it was not a good substitute. Here you have in your challenge, Death and the Queen of Swords, a Queen of Wands rather, which is fantastic. The energy that's coming through here is like allowing things to die. And again, this mother-child energy, I never use this deck, but there's a lot of mother-child energy here. Death here coming up in your advice. Letting things go, letting it dissolve. Again, there's no reason to argue about it, reconcile it, defend your point, your perspective, your thinking. You let it go. And it looks like by doing that, you bring in this Queen of Wands energy. And the Queen of Wands energy is definitely Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. But I also like this energy because in talking about replacing that feminine in your life, you replace that somehow with you. Queen of Wands to me has always been one of the more, before you get to, let's say, the Empress, the Queen of Wands to me has always been one of those energies that has a balance. She has her hands, let's just say, on all four elements. This is someone who has a little bit of she's in touch with her emotions. She kind of understands the material. She also is quite intellectual and smart and witty, right? She's also, as being the Queen of Wands, has her hand on the pulse of her own spirit, what it is she wants, her own desires, even her own fears, and how to handle those things. And in this particular deck, she is definitely coming through with this lion, which is usually there with strength. And she's coming in here with this lion instead of it being that little house cat that it normally is. It's like, no, I'm coming through strong. And so you replace this dark feminine energy in your life with your own strength. It's quite beautiful. So yeah, I am going to get, something is wanting me to pull from the Guardians deck first. This is rough. I'm so sorry about this. This is really rough. Let's just see what else comes up here. This is also coming through too, funny enough, as community. So if it's not a specific person or if it's not a mindset or thinking that you've had, this is also could be a community, people that you thought were highly spiritual who are not. Okay, I love this for you. Okay, so you've got the Shaolin Master and the Shield Maiden, and we talked about this a little bit before. The Shaolin Master and the Shield Maiden here in this particular case is talking about you. Remember we said not to say anything. Don't talk, don't reconcile, don't whatever. You leave, you escape in the night. You make your plans, you think about what it is you're going to do, you think about how it is you're going to do it. You make your plans and you move gracefully. Don't be, rattling any pots and pans about, defending yourself or telling people what you're going to do and all that. Keep your mouth shut, move in the dark, move under the radar, and make sure that you understand that that's what you want. The bigger warning that's coming through with this is don't half-ass the process of moving on under the radar. Don't try to pretend or perform in a way where you're like, hey, I'm moving on the radar, but I hope somebody notices that I'm moving on, or I hope she notices that I'm moving on so that it can spark a conversation. Don't do that. Don't allow yourself to start playing both sides or playing a double agent. Make sure that you are clear and in agreement with the fact or the idea that you're going to move on from this in silence, and do so. Don't mix and match techniques or approaches here. Okay. And it feels like part of the reason you don't want to alert this person or alert other people as to what you're doing is that this person's got some manipulative tendencies. They come back and you end up right back in the situation that you left, or they try to thwart your efforts in some way, thereby ruining this new chapter that you're trying to move into. So let's just see. A new start is coming. I'll take one more. Adjustments are required. This is what we're talking about. Okay. Shaolin master, be graceful, go slow, go easy, step by step, bit by bit. If it's a relationship, it's kind of like you want to slide out of it. Just slide out. Okay. Sure enough, there it is. A new start is coming with your new moon energy. There's really nothing more than saying that. Play your cards close to your chest and get ready to move on. But congratulations, there's nothing as clear as this, defeating this nonsense with this. That's some pretty cool stuff. All right, Aries, so that's what I have for you for the month of March 2024. I hope my camera situation doesn't bother you too much. Some of my first YouTube videos, I will figure it out. Either way, please feel free to give me a like, comment, or subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you later.